in the case where if you have now, let's say somebody that has, if they're like heart failure or not, yeah, heart failure, or if they're on some some type of medication that drops their blood pressure, two hormones that are going to increase it. First is aldosterone, or three hormones, I should say. All right, we talked a little bit about aldosterone from endocrine. Right, aldosterone is going to help reabsorb water by reabsorbing sodium. Okay, antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, right? Antidiuretic, we're going to stop ourselves from peeing essentially. Right? It's going to help us now retain water, and then vasoconstriction. And now our new player, angiotensin 2. I'll show you how angiotensin 2 is made in a moment. Right. But they're all going to act very similarly, right? So the hormones that increase blood pressure, the commonality you see is what? What are some common functions amongst the three of these that are increasing blood pressure? Water retention, and then sodium, right? So again, so salt follows water. So if you have somebody, you know how people just have a heart attack and they're put on a low sodium diet? It's because you don't want to maintain, right? You don't want to hold on to water, because holding on to water increases our blood pressure. And if they just had a heart attack, that meant their blood pressure was too high, and we don't want that. So not only are they going to be put on probably one of these, most commonly is ADH, right? A medication that acts like ADH or mimics ADH. They're also going to be told a low sodium diet. So high blood pressure, common function among the hormones that are released is to get rid of water, or to increase blood pressure, sorry, is to increase water retention and increase salt. If we want to decrease our blood pressure, we're going to get rid of water and get rid of salt. Okay. Now this is like my absolute favorite. I love these charts just because this is, to me, like this is physiology. So this is particularly important, especially for next week. What this is saying is, so angiotensinogen, anytime you see something with the word GEN, what that means is like premature, right? It's like the, I say premature, meaning that it is the non-functional protein, essentially, right? So it's a non-functional protein, right? Ogen is non-functional. So what happens is that renin, which is released by our kidney, so angiotensinogen is released by the liver, right? That's why the liver's up here. Renin is an enzyme. It's a little Pac-Man. It's an enzyme, and you don't have to get into the biochemistry of how it does it. If you want to, I can talk to you all about it, but I won't. I'll spare you the very exciting details. But essentially what it's doing is it helps convert angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1, or Ang1. Okay. So angiotensinogen is converted to angiotensin 1 by renin. Okay. Angiotensin 1 is then converted to angiotensin 2, which is the fully functional form of protein we need, or hormone we need, I should say, by ACE. ACE stands for angiotensin 1 converting enzyme. Very original, right? So you don't have to know it's angiotensin converting enzyme, just know it as ACE. So angiotensinogen converted to angiotensin 1 by renin. Angiotensin 1 is converted to angiotensin 2 by ACE, and ACE is released by the lungs. Now from there, angiotensin 2 is going to do three different things. Excuse me. Three different functions. The first one is going to vasoconstrict, so it's going to close our blood vessels to help increase our blood pressure. Next, it's going to act on our brain to stimulate the sympathetic nervous system, right? So that's stress response. Our heart rate's up. We need to run from the bear. It's also going to help the kidneys secrete aldosterone. Right? And so aldosterone is, like we talked about, increases sodium and water reabsorption. So we're going to retain sodium and water. So this happens if our blood pressure is too low, and that's a stress response, right? That's a sympathetic nervous system response because it's stressful, where this is not normal for us. So it has dropped. Okay.
So this whole thing is an example of blood pressure dropping.
So this is a hormone that's released, right, if we need to increase our blood pressure. So if our blood pressure is too low, angiotensin 2 is released, and this tells you the mechanism how angiotensin 2 is actually made.
Okay,
It's closing.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to grasp like the very beginning is where I was a little bit confused. So we start up there, with the AGT, from the pancreas?
Liver.
Liver. Okay, liver, and then it's converted to the ANG1 through the REN. Okay, and then it's converted to, then we go, see that, okay. From the ANG1
Goes to ANG2
through ACE.
ACE.
Okay, alright, thank you very much for
Yep.
going over that.
So it's angiotensinogen to ANG1 to ANG2.
Okay.
And then from the side, so angiotensinogen goes to ANG1 by renin from the kidney, and then 1 to 2 from ACE.
Okay, and the renin is just an enzyme,
Mhm.
right?
Renin and ACE are both enzymes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question. Make sense, everybody? Alright, so, I'm gonna do, we have some time left